One of the questions I get a lot is comparisons. What's better, this or this against that? Well, so I thought because we have a little lull after the Chinese New Year, we're not going to see too many new products hit in the market. That and the chip shortage has made kind of our iterations from our manufacturers kind of slow down a bit. I thought this would be a good time for me to just kind of go over the things that are my favorites. So this is completely biased, completely subjective, and all about me. Completely, what's the word? Selfish. So I get this question, as I said, a lot. So you might not care for the answers, and this is all about me. We could still be friends and not agree. We could still be friends and prefer something else. But I want to make it abundantly clear that these are just my personal favorites of the quads I have flown in the last so many years. Some of these aren't necessarily even brand new, which might surprise you just a touch. So we're going to start out with this series of video, and it is going to be all about whoops. Whoops are probably my most favorite of all the micros. And so we have to start there, don't you think? So let's just go right into what my favorite is. And I'm going to kind of show it to you, I guess. And that would be the Mobula 6. This is in the 65mm category. I have one other one that I would recommend, but I gave it away. Sometimes giving away things too often makes me later have regret. This is kind of, excuse me, I bumped the camera. This is kind of a Mobula 6. It's got a lot of Mobula 6 parts, but you can see I've got a Z's props on there, and I've got a different canopy. But this is as close to stock. I think another one that I might show you would be this one, which does have Express LRS. Mobula 6, and the reason why I like the Mobula 6 is just top-end performance. I like to go fast, and if I'm going to fly outside, I want some higher kV. The Mobula 6 offers 25,000 kV motors, which will give you that extra pep outside. But if you're inside, you go for the 19,000 kV. You'll get longer flight times and a little bit more mild on the throttle. The reason why I have these two out here is, one, I really don't have a stock one anymore. I kind of go through my whoops and I change things a little bit back and forth. This isn't to necessarily endorse these specifically. I'm not a huge fan of the low profile, but if that's for you, then you go ahead and choose that. But I wanted to get out the representation of what I have that is close to the Mobula 6. The Mobula 6 had a canopy a lot like the Mobula 7 ELRS 1S version, where it only has 3 positions and it tends to get jello outside. So that's one of the reasons why I don't run the Mobula 6 canopy on anything I have anymore. So that's why you see it this way. And this one, has the Express LRS, which, if you know me, I am now using the Radiomaster Zorro radio and Express LRS as often, as frequently as I can. But so if you're asking me for what's the best whoop for in the 65mm format, it is the Mobula 6 still. And if you're wanting to know, well, what about the 75mm format? Well, I gotta go with this one. I just did a video on it. This may not surprise anyone. It's the Mobula 7 ELRS 1S edition. Just a lot of fun. They redesigned the motors. They got this new board. They redesigned the canopy finally, and now it's got 4 points, so we should be much less susceptible to getting jello in our camera, especially outside in bright sunlight. One of the things that I think, I wish we could get a redesign of all whoop frames to where we could mount or have the board oriented so we could toilet tank everything and still be able to get to our motor plugs. That's my one big complaint about all whoop frames. But for the 75mm format, yeah, Mobula 7 ELRS Edition 1S, or it might be the Mobula 7 1S ELRS Edition. That is my favorite 75mm whoop. And these are, of course, both analog so far. All analog. So if you follow the channel closely, you know that a lot of times I actually don't have that many in a 65mm format anymore. Because one of the things I do with all my Mobula 6 sort of parts is I make Mobula 7s essentially out of mine, whether they're 2S or 1S. I think the 75mm format with 40mm props, that is a much better flying quad. It's more stable. It has longer flight times. Of course, you can put a bigger battery in there, and that gives you a lot of that flight time. I think they perform better. They have more pop outside. They have more quick throttle response because they just have all that advantage of having a bigger prop. But there are a lot of people who are traditionalists, and they want a 65mm format, either because your local race group only allows 65mm format, Or you're just a, like I said, a traditionalist, and you just like the smaller ones. I get it. I like small ones too. It's just the size difference is so negligible. So negligible. The size of holes you can fit through, you're going to have to be a top-end pilot to really be able to tell the difference. And the reason why I have this one out here is I think the combination that I hear the most about in most top flight or frequent flyers or hardcore whoop pilots is get a Mobula 6 and put it in a Meteor 65 frame. This is the Meteor 65 frame, not the Meteor 65 Pro. That's a different frame. The Meteor 65 Pro frame does 35mm props, which is also another quad that I really like and I have given away. But because it still does not have adjustable camera angle is the reason why the Mobula 6 gets the edge over the Meteor 65 Pro, which is also Express ELRS. So that's why I've got this one out here, because this frame I think is more durable. It's also a lot more popular because it's pretty easy to tell why it's more durable. Your ducts are the things that hit all the time, and in this case we've only got those 3 thicker spurs, and I don't know if their thickness does them all that much good, but you can see how Beta FPV has designed this frame quite a bit differently. I think more people like this frame than like the traditional Mobula 6. So that's what I would suggest. Of course, Happy Model has made some improvements in their frame. The Mobula 7 ELRS 1S edition here, this frame is new. It's more rugged. I have 2 of these, and I have not broken either one of them. So if you're looking for this format and you want to build something out, I would get this. I think it's the V3 Mobula 7 frame. It's the one that does not have the 2S battery tray. That's one easy way to tell them apart. Also, the 2S edition is a lot thicker on their ducts, and it's very, very durable. But for 1S, you want your battery just to tuck right in there. So I think the improvements they've made here are good. So now we've done analog. I bet you there's some people out there saying, well, what about HD? Well, in HD, it's kind of easy unless you're going to build. Mobula 7 HDZero edition. It's pretty much the only one out there that I know. Some of you DJI guys, I got something for you. Just hold on a second. So if you're into HDZero and you're wanting to do a whoop, 75mm format I think is going to be the minimum because the additional weight that we get with the camera and the extra board. Of course, the HDZero I think has been kind of hard to get. Stock should be coming back soon as the manufacturers all gear back up. Of course, this is, this is really good in my opinion. I think they did a great job, and I'm very biased because Carl from HDZero came calling and asked me about what I suggest for a whoop, and I kind of gave him some feedback that, this would be what I built. And I'd already built 2 of them, so he kind of already knew. Not a fan of this canopy, just because I think it should attach somewhere. I'm an advocate on whoops for 4 points of contact, almost like you're mountain climbing or something. Unfortunately, no frames in this format support having a canopy attached down here, so we have to attach back here. In this case, you have some potential that your crashes can hit the board. That's why they have the foam underneath. So if you're wanting HDZero whoop, this is the one to have. And I've answered this question a whole bunch of times as well. When you're wanting DJI, I think the best way to go is going to be to get it naked. Regardless of what you do, take those heat sinks out. I have a video I'll probably be working on here shortly about doing naked. Not that that's revolutionary. I'm actually slow to take up the naked side of the Vista or Air Unit lights. But these are my 2 favorite micros. Now, they're dramatically different. I really don't consider this a whoop, and I wanted to cover the whoop category, but I suspected some people would come out and ask about this one. These fly really nice, but there's nothing whoop-like about them outside of how they look. They use, multi-cell batteries instead of just a 1 or a 2 cell. We're looking at 3 and 4 cell batteries, so you're carrying a lot more weight in the house. Also, you have the potential for a lot more damage if you do crash into a picture frame or something. These guys with their batteries, if you crash into a picture frame, it's potential that you could destroy the glass in the frame or, whatever objects you have. More weight, more speed, more inertia, bigger crashes. I thought this frame was broken there for a second. Is it? Nope. Okay, I thought the frame was broken. I don't know if you can see it right down in there. I thought the frame was broken, but it's that way all the way around. Anywho, these are the best 2. Okay, now my naming. If I don't get the names right, I'll print them on screen. I believe this is the iFlight Alpha A75 HD, and this is the Oh, it's an 85 millimeter, so it's probably got 85 in the name HD version as well. This is more, I would consider this more of a Senwoop. It flies very stable. iFlight does a nice job with their PID tunes, and when you're carrying this much weight, especially when the weight gets so far from the prop line, the PID tune becomes so important. These are the two that I think for DJI and flying you should definitely look at in this sort of size. This goes outside of where I wanted to be, but if I got to include it, I'll include it here. But if you're looking for an indoor flyer, this is the one I would get. It's the one I've kept for DJI. And then if you're comfortable, take the heat sinks out of this. It'll change the weight quite a bit. You may have to pump up your PID tune values in order to get that crispness back. But yeah, this is, well, and the camera. Hopefully they're selling this with a new camera. I'll investigate if, I believe this is a polar camera that they're selling this with when I got it. Hopefully they got the new Nebula Pro Nano camera. That would also decrease the weight a little bit. But yeah, if you want to build one up, you know, using their frame and various components that you want. When it comes to flying inside, I pretty much don't go over 75 millimeters. I know, I just included this one. But this is a much slower flyer. This one flies really nicely. You can fly it more aggressively because it's got lower weight and it's 75 millimeters, so it's more suitable for in the house. And last but not least, we have to go to the Senwoop category because the Senwoop category has the name Whoop in it, and this video is about the whoops that I think are the best. And of course, with my biased opinion, I still say it's the GepRC Cinelog 25. I like the prop size on it. I like how it flies. I like how it handles. Mine, it still works great. I like the fact that you could use it like a traditional Senwoop and do the slow, cruisy, get your shot sort of flying. And it also has more capabilities for more aggressive flight. But I think the one caveat with that aggressive flight is these prop protections don't last for most people. Yeah, mine are here and mine are fine. But I couldn't tell you how many reports of broken prop protection I have read from various others. So one of the things of getting that additional performance, we actually have less durability. So it's something to consider, but it's still my favorite. I enjoy the fact that I can reliably fly this outside and have fun, or I can do slow, cruisy flying, which I don't traditionally do, but I've left my mount in there for just having fun or getting my shot. Either way you go, both have, all these have vistas in them that we could always change the camera and go naked, remove the heat sinks, and increase flight time, increase performance. Of course, we do have to probably change the PID tune on a little bit. Those are my favorite whoops. I wanted to keep this video relatively short for you because it is just kind of an overview. It's my opinion. It's my completely biased, completely selfish opinion about what I like in the whoop category. So if you want more details about these individual quads, I will put the original review video down in the video description. I'll also put some links to resellers if you want to look at the current pricing because they've probably gone up, unfortunately. And if you have something else you want to ask me about, that's completely fine, but these are probably still my favorites, or I just haven't flown what you're asking me to compare it to. I don't fly everything. I fly a lot of them, but not everything. There's a few out there I haven't flown. I'm going to follow this up with some other category of props in my favorites, and so look forward to those videos. I'll try to actually record all these videos and get them ready and kind of stage them out in relative quick succession. So if you're looking for something in a larger prop size, it should be out within a couple of days, I would think. But if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or otherwise about my bias, completely selfish, favorite whoops, please let me know in the comments section below. I appreciate your time. And thank you for watching.